Hello and welcome, my loves, to a juicy conversation about Jupiter in Taurus. So we have this transit happening for the next year, and I thought this would be a really potent, good time to discuss the magic that can happen from this transit and also some of the difficulties, the frustrations, the agitations that may occur based on what Jupiter does to our charts. So today we're going to go in through the conversation of what is Jupiter and Taurus bringing to us as a collective. And then we're going to talk about, these personal attributes and focal points within your own chart through your rising sign. So make sure that you start off with watching the full presentation of what is this? School. The full conversation is a better term about what Jupiter and Taurus is actually going to bring to us, the beautiful, energetic signature that it can be offering to us, and then be sure to skip through to your rising placement to understand what area of your life is being activated for the next year. So before we get fully into this conversation, if you love my content, if you love being here with me, please make sure you like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments that you are here to stay. You are part of the It's Karmic family. This is like my lifeblood. I love making these videos for you. So let's keep doing it. And the way I can keep doing that is by you engaging with my content and supporting me in that simple and easy way. So make sure you hit subscribe and like below, and let's get into it. All right, let's backtrack for a second to what we have been experiencing or experienced through the Aries Jupiter transit that we just experienced. So if you guys have been with me for a little while here, you would have watched the juicy video back in, I don't even know, I think it was March, around the Jupiter and Chiron conjunction in Aries. Amplifying the wound of self, of creative expression, of your inner warrior. Okay, that was a big conversation we had. Everyone was really feeling super wounded around that time, early this year. And that is what Jupiter does. So I want to just backtrack you so you can understand the frequency of Jupiter just within your own life. So if you felt early on in this 2023, early start to the year, this inner child wounding that came up, a wounding of your sense of identity, a wounding of your inner self, anything coming up around those frequencies of self, body, childhood, all of it. That was the frequency of Jupiter conjunct Chiron, that inner wound of childhood we've been going through for quite a while. And then Jupiter expanding the wound, but also bringing faith and healing into an energy that naturally wants to heal. So while we experienced the energy of Jupiter and Aries, I referred to that as this frequency or energetic new start. It was a new beginning. It was an energy of starting new journeys, okay? So somewhere in your life in 2022, you were invited to start a new journey. Now, there was a lot of other energies that had ending frequencies to them. So sometimes it's hard to decipher where we're beginning, where we're starting. But somewhere in your life over last year, there was a new journey you were invited into. So I want you to just take a second and tap into where were you the Fool? Where were you beginning something new? And when I say the Fool, I mean the Fool in tarot, right? Standing on the edge of a cliff, looking out into the abyss. We're not really sure as the reader of the card what's below your feet, but you trust that this new journey is taking you somewhere great. It's a new, expansive, exciting journey, okay? That's the energy that Jupiter and Aries brought to us all. Now, shifting out of that new beginning energy, that new start, and there's going to be more new starts happening this year. We'll talk about that later as the nodes begin to shift. But there was a frequency of this new journey. And within that, you have moved to a place of needing to create a solid foundation, needing to ground in, needing to solidify. So Jupiter shifts from Aries into Taurus, and it takes you from this active initiating, let's start this kind of frequency, into, okay, we started something. Now we need to dig our heels in and solidify that thing. So this shift happened earlier this year. I'll get the exact date here. Hold on. When did it exactly shift in? It shifted in May 16th, exactly over into Taurus. And so within that frequency and that shift, there was a feeling that week. I remember specifically about 2 weeks ago, as I'm filming this. If you're listening to this down the road, no big deal, but maybe tap back into what was going on in May. There was a lot of energy going on. We were still we were on the tail end of Mercury retrograde, the tail end of eclipse season's shadow. And there was a lot happening. Okay. So there was a lot happening as Jupiter shifted into Taurus. It was almost hard to pay attention to the frequency shift that was being offered to you through this energy. So as time is winding through, as I'm filming, this is May 29th, and this energetic shift is beginning to be a little bit more clear, okay? A little bit more clear around what it's going to bring to us. So let's talk about the energy of Jupiter in Taurus. We can't talk about Taurus right now without talking about the fact that the nodes have been moving through Taurus and Scorpio for the last 2 years, and that they're about to shift into Libra and into Aries. So we've been doing Taurus stuff for the last 2 years. I just want to remind you of that. Okay. We've been doing Taurus stuff. At the beginning of this shift, back in the winter of 2020, I made a program pre-recorded masterclass called Collective Karma about the shift of the nodes moving into Taurus and Scorpio. And a lot of the themes that I talked about were the things that have come up over the last 2 years. Food, sustainability, stability, what goes in your body, what goes on your body, money, and your connection to your vessel. Okay. So over the last 2 years, we've seen a lot of focus on food that is not food. We're not eating food. The grocery stores are filled with garbage. It's been a high focus. If you are in the world I'm in, high focus. Where is the real food? Stop poisoning our food. Stop poisoning our skies. Stop poisoning everything. Okay. It's been a high focus. The oceans, the sustainability, the earth, how many shutdowns we've seen of farmers, the farmers' protests, all these things. It's food. It's Taurus. Okay. Also going into what's going on our skin. There's been a high, clear focus around clean beauty coming in, clean products. Okay. And there's obviously a huge war on greenwashing and the bullshit that's being put into our products and on our skin that is poisoning us. The bullshit that's in our air, in our everything. Okay. It's been a big focus. And then deeper into power, money. I mean, obviously we've seen the economy absolutely collapse. Many astrologers predicted that the frequency is very similar to that of what happened during the Great Depression. These things, they do move in cycles. They do move in themes. So these conversations happen. So when we're talking about Taurus, there is all of this focus around what I call physical security. Okay. Do you have enough money to feed yourself? Do you have enough money to provide a roof over your head? Do you have enough money? Because money is the currency here on earth. Do you feel safe, right? Are you able to provide for yourself to feel safe here on earth? That's the biggest question with Taurus. It wants to feel safe. It wants to be physically safe. And the layer over into that is, if I'm physically safe, if I can do all these things to feel safe, then I can enjoy the sensuality of being here on earth. Taurus is truly the most hedonistic sign. It wants to enjoy being here. It wants to enjoy the physical. It wants to enjoy pleasure and sensuality and food and the nicest things of life, the luxury. And it's going to work as hard as it can. It's going to dig its heels in order to provide those beautiful things for itself. Okay, that's the frequency of Taurus. On the low octave, Taurus can get very lazy, very lethargic, very stuck in its own ways because it really can feel sluggish in its low octave. But there's a fine balance between digging your heels in and completely being so determined to build yourself the luxurious life you deserve and, running out of fuel and just kind of slowing down sloth energy that Taurus can be. We want to meet in the middle and find healthy balance here. So with Jupiter moving into Taurus, there is so much opportunity, but also so much expanded frequencies around what can happen in overindulgence. So I'm going to say this until I have pounded it into the brain of all my students, all my community, my listeners. Jupiter expands what it pays attention to. The awareness of Jupiter, wherever that falls, is what will get bigger. So you'll hear a lot of astrologers talk about Jupiter being this energy of luck, of hope and faith, and it's so good. And whatever sign it moves into, that's where you're going to experience big lucky moments in your life. And to that I say, absolutely. There is opportunity to expand everything with Jupiter, and it can be beautiful. And where your Jupiter is in your chart can bring lucky breaks and doors opening. And sure, it's a benevolent energy. But if we go back into understanding even just the frequency of Zeus, who is Jupiter, this is a frequency that is unpredictable, can be greatly punishing, and is really overindulgent. So if you know anything about the energy of Zeus, he was a philanderer. He was not the best husband. He was, always punishing mortals. He could be quite cruel in his sense for justice, like what he thought was justice. It was like what Jupiter says goes, right? What Zeus says goes. And he was, always overindulging in the senses, sex, drugs, all of it. I say drugs like alcohol and all these things. Okay. So Jupiter's energy expands everything it's paying attention to. So if you are in a low frequency, if you are super focused on fear, on lack, on scarcity, on all the shit and the low octaves of Taurus, then Jupiter is going to come in and expand those low octaves of Taurus. Now, I'll say that in saying he also wants to help you expand the high octaves, and he will give you opportunity after opportunity to shift your belief systems. But in order to do that, you are going to have to do some conscious work. You're going to have to go into your inner world. Like you're going to have to do some Plutonian shit, okay? With all of this said, high octave, low octave, let's just talk about the frequencies and the main points that can come across in this transit. Really tapping into your stability and security is going to be expanded right now. Okay. Your focus on stability and security is going to expand. So like I said, if you are focused on scarcity, scarcity will expand. Now, in the teachings of like Abraham Hicks and all these amazing law of attraction teachers that just talk about just the law of vibration as just a simple fact. There's many other natural laws, but the law of vibration, what we think about, we create, right? Like abracadabra, we talked about that in the last video on Gemini season. What you speak, you create. What you think, you create. All these things. If you are speaking scarcity, you will see scarcity, and Jupiter will expand that scarcity. So there's an opportunity, an opening portal for you to shift your mindset, your subconscious, your thoughts around stability and security, not scarcity, security. Okay. So there's the pivot. When you are seeing scarcity, you are being invited to heal into seeing stability and security, right? To see positive abundance. When you're seeing an abundance of negative attributes to your fear around money, material gain, safety, it is the invitation to understand there is a shadow. There is a subconscious program running that you need to work out. Okay. It's not that you're being punished. It's not that you're being punished. It is that you are being invited to see your bullshit. Okay. And even if it's not your own fault, like, okay, you grew up around lack, scarcity mindset. I did. I grew up poor as hell. Like it was the common statements of parents in the 90s. Money doesn't grow on trees. We don't have money for that. Like, no, you'll just have to wear hand-me-downs. And like, that was just life. My mom did her best. My dad did his best. Absolutely. But, there were frequencies embedded into me that I'm still working through. There are many factors in the chart that we can go through if you decide to go into a reading with me or in, master classes with me. But the frequency of this is you have to go into your own bullshit. So Jupiter will expand where you need to look, okay? Where you need to see this. The next theme is around sensuality and pleasure. And again, it is polarized. One version of this, if you're really feeling positively abundant around your sensuality or pleasure, you're feeling like you deserve sensuality and pleasure. You're feeling like you deserve luxury at this time. You want to eat, you want to enjoy the fruits of your labor and really be in the pleasure of life, then it's going to come and it's going to expand that energy for you. Okay. On the flip side, it will expand your disconnect around those energies, your fears around those energies. Are you feeling scarcity around your pleasure? Do you allow pleasure into your life? Do you feel optimistic around pleasure? And again, Jupiter is offering you a lens to say, well, okay, I want you to feel expansive here. I want you to gain new wisdom into how you can feel more sensual and more pleasureful. So how are we going to do that? Jupiter is about wisdom. Jupiter is about the expansion of your mind. Jupiter goes on travels. Okay, so if you ever hear Jupiter is about travel, it's about travel. Okay, 9th house, Sagittarius, travel. And I really see it as the travel, whether it's physical or metaphysical, mental, emotional, travel, astral travel, of expanding your awareness. So whether you have to go to another country to experience a new culture, to expand your wisdom, or whether you're going into the astral realm, the Akashic realm to expand your wisdom, you have to go on a journey. Okay, you have to go on a long journey, often with Jupiter energy, Sagittarius energy. This is a lifelong journey to continue to expand yourself. So right now, Jupiter is asking you to go on a journey back into your creation of stability, security, sensuality, and pleasure. Back into your grounding force. This is a journey back into your body. This is the quest for the expansion of your grounded, rooted, nourished self. And so you're going to have to see how grounded you've been, how nourished you've been. Really, after 2 years of having the North Node in Taurus, it's like, what did you learn, right? What did you learn? And now can we apply it? Can we live it? Can we really make that energy a part of your new belief systems? Because Jupiter is also about belief systems. Can you embed it into your belief systems and start living in a more Taurus aligned way? Okay. Taurus is also a very practical energy. It is practical in the sense that it wants everything to be able to do its job. Okay. Food nourishes. The things around you are luxurious yet comfortable. Okay. It's like the form follows function situation. Taurus wants nice things, but those nice things better be comfortable. They better work. They better be practical. They better do their job. And Taurus is going to stick around as long as it needs to in order to do that job. Taurus energy also wants you to come back to your senses. Okay. If anything, Taurus is the energy of the 5 senses. The second house is all about your physical body, how you nurture it, how you love it. It's self-worth, it's self-love. Taurus wants you to be in the 5 senses, experiencing taste, touch, smell, sight, and feeling. What do you feel on your skin, right? What do you taste on your tongue? How good can the food get? How soft can that touch get? How sensual can that touch get? How And what are you seeing in your vision, right? Are you seeing things you love? Check in with your vibration. Are you seeing frustration everywhere? It's a really good example of this, of sight and Taurus and frequency. The last 2 weeks have been like on this high vibe. Things have been aligning. I've been having like a lot of confirmation. It's like confirmation over and over and over. It's been mind numbing. I've been like, wow, not mind numbing, mind blowing. I've just been blown away by it. Okay. And then I noticed my TikTok was like super vibey. I was like really loving the content that was coming up on my For You page. And then I noticed, I just woke up one day and it was like being in another dimension. My TikTok was super negative. Okay. Something about my frequency changed when I watched a documentary all about, it's called The Dimming. If you are interested in chemtrails, it's a very, very interesting documentary. I'm not saying or telling you what to believe, but I watched this documentary, which whenever I think about chemtrails, I get in a really fucking pissed off mindset. So I watched this documentary, woke up the next day, and my For You feed was just negative. It was the most negative, low octave videos. Everyone after it said politics, anger. And I was like, nothing about what I started watching on TikTok had changed. My frequency had changed. And so my frequency of watching that documentary, it aligned with the frequency of seeing negative content on TikTok. So this is a good example of the vision, 5 senses, and frequency and energy. So my vision was confirming what I had started to think about. And I had started to think negative thoughts about the world, okay? And that's something I had to shift. And now my TikTok, again, is more positive, okay? Now, I hit uninterested for a few videos and now it's very positive. I'm going back to these really beautiful growth expansive videos. So that's just a really like simple example of how we can shift the 5 senses, okay? Then moving through this, Taurus is really going to invite us into nurturance, which I've mentioned. Now, Jupiter wants to expand that nurturance. This could be a time where you get over-focused on nurturing your body, on nurturing your vessel. You get really focused on like what you're putting in your body. You could be like hyper aware of whether it's like you're overindulging in food, maybe you're overindulging in fast food. So watch these things. Are you overindulging in just like binge eating, binge watching, laziness? Are you overindulging in things that are so base consciousness, okay, they're keeping you on a low frequency? Or are you learning and becoming hyper-focused on upgrading your body, upgrading your cells, detoxing, cleansing, anything that's going to create more homeostasis in your body? Because Taurus wants that. It doesn't want to be thrown off, right? It doesn't want to have adrenal fatigue. It doesn't want to have an overactive nervous system. It wants to be grounded. So pay attention to what comes up over this transit around that energy. Now, adding to this, my last little point about Jupiter in Taurus as a general frequency. Taurus brings up our values. The second house brings up our values. Venus brings up our values. And it is an energy of figuring out what you value. Now, I've talked about this in several videos previous to this one, of you figuring out your values right now. Your values are going to help you understand where you are in and out of alignment. So Jupiter is going to highlight that right now and say, hi, I'm going to focus on what you're focusing on, and I'm going to make it bigger because you need to go back into a journey of yourself and remove or expand anything that is working or isn't working. So it's going to bring overindulgence. Now, overindulgence into your unaligned values is going to make you feel like shit. It just will. It'll make you feel disconnected. It could make you feel like physically responsive, bloated, any of these things. Whatever it is, if something's not working for you, but you keep doing it, A, that's the definition of insanity. And B, Jupiter is going to expand it. Jupiter is also going to expand, as I mentioned earlier, the awareness of what is in and out of alignment with your values. So this is a time over the next year to really go on a journey or a quest to figure out, what do you value? What is important to you? And are you doing it? And are you not doing it? Okay? And if you're not in alignment with your values, why? Why aren't you aligned with your values? What's going on there? What is the issue that is coming up that's stopping you from being aligned with your values? And if you're out of alignment with your values, are your priorities skewed? Right? If you are like me and you value reading over watching Netflix, but you choose Netflix every time, what is going on there? It's a question I have to ask myself, right? If I choose the TV over my book, is it because I'm too tired to read? Is it because I'm too lazy? Because sometimes that's okay. Something that's happened a few times for me lately is I've realized if I need to take a nap in the middle of the day, which is common if you guys know me at this point, like manifestor energy, I nap. I need to check in with, did I throw the TV on because I couldn't handle doing anything else? And would it not be better to throw a meditation on and actually go to sleep with some beautiful subconscious new programming, right? Throw a meditation on about worthiness, throw a meditation on about expanded energy. Jupiter meditation can go on. Is that not more aligned and better for my energy than throwing the TV on? Absolutely. So if I'm throwing the TV on and then falling asleep and having a nap, why? What is that doing for me, and why am I choosing that? These are the questions. Okay. These are the things we need to ponder over the next year as you are diving into this energy. So to recap, the frequencies we're working with is Jupiter expanding and taking you on a new quest, a new journey around your stability, your security, your sensuality and your pleasure, your practicality, and even like discipline, your grounding point, your body, your vessel, your values, and how you're nurturing your body. Okay, that is what needs to be reviewed. That is the new quest you're on. You started the quest of Aries, a new journey into yourself. Just going to continue when we move into the summer, but that was the start. Jupiter took you on a quest to self. Now you are on a quest of grounding into your body, your values, and realigning how you live your life. So let's talk about this through the rising sign. So what you're going to do here is you are going to go into the show notes and click on the timing of your rising sign to skip through so you don't have to watch every single one. If you want to watch every single one, go ahead. You might learn something, but if you're not studying astrology, pop forward into your rising sign to see what area of your life is being impacted. All right, let's dive in. So Aries Rising, Jupiter is going to be moving through your second house. If you are an Aries Rising, you are going to be doubling up everything I just said. Okay, everything you just listened to times 2. Because the second house is the Taurus energy. It is the Venetian energy. So you are working on your physical security right now. You're working on your money. You're working on your material wealth, your connection and quest around new ventures gained. Okay. And it can also really, really show up as your connection or new quest around your self-worth. Now, if we go down to the baseline of physical security, your belief in yourself, your acceptance and love of self will be what provides you with the resonance to attract that energy of financial security, physical security, material security. So you're going to go into a quest. You're going to dive into the quest of figuring out your self-love story over the next year. Where do you need expansion? Where do you need new belief systems to be formed around your self-love story in order to call in more energy of positive abundance? When I'm talking about the second house, I really like to refer the frequency and the energy of receptivity and magnetism. The second house, you need to be finding a way to become receptive. If you cannot receive from the universe will try and try and try and try to give you what you want, but you aren't listening, you aren't seeing, you aren't receiving or accepting. So tap into how you are able to receive from those around you. When someone gives you a compliment, do you deflect it? Do you automatically say like, no, oh, no, 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 like, oh, or the worst is like, no, oh, you're so beautiful, right? Deflecting the comment back to themselves. Can you look someone in the damn eyes and say, I received that? If someone says to you, you look amazing today, I received that. You're beautiful, I received that. I love this about you, I received that. Okay, learning to become receptive. And expansion of this energy is going to highlight the overindulgence in the five senses. Okay, so you're going to be watching for the overindulgence in food, the overindulgence in their physical body, in feeling, lethargic, heavy, or even overactive in your body. You're really going to tap into that frequency of like not overindulging into the five senses, not overindulging in your money, not overspending, not overdoing it. Okay, anywhere where you're like, oh, that's overdoing it, watch yourself and check yourself before you wreck yourself. Okay. All right. My Taurus risings, Jupiter is going to be moving through your first house. Okay. So the first house is all about yourself. That quest we just went through with Jupiter and Aries was that first house energy. You are discovering your sense of self, your sense of creativity, how you process the world, how you perceive the world, and how you operate in the world. That is what's coming up right now. So you are going to be asked to go into the quest of self. You are starting another journey, okay? That Aries Taurus energy started a journey for you somewhere in your chart, that 12th house, really. And you are going to be tapping into this new journey of self-discovery. Everything you took from your 12th house, everything that was uncovered, new secrets of self, new desires, new ambitions of self. Now you're going to take it and embody it and become it. And really tapping into who are you? The quest of self is going to make you question the new belief systems, your new views of the world, your new views of you. And in that, you're going to have to watch out for overindulging in selfishness, in self-focusedness. Now, you are meant to be self-focused right now, okay? That Jupiter in the first house, you have to be self-focused right now. But at the same time, there is a fine line between overindulgence in self and a healthy balance of working in tandem with, I'm doing my stuff right now, but I still see that there are people out around me that experience my energy and I have an impact on them. So not overindulging in any aggressive tendencies, though you will need to assert yourself. You will need to initiate right now. You will need to start something new. You have to watch out for over-initiating, overindulgence in, pushing yourself onto things or onto people. You are figuring out you right now. Your physical appearance may change. Your personal initiatives might change. Your sense of identity might shift right now. Allow that to happen and just watch out for overindulging into it. All right, Gemini risings. So Jupiter is going to be moving through your 12th house. This means all the hidden shit is going to be expanded. Okay, Jupiter is moving through the house of spirituality, of hidden matters, of introspection, of karma. And what Jupiter will do is expand that information. It will expand the karma. It will expand the old karmic patterns. So if you have anything in your 12th house, it's going to bring up all that stuff. If you don't, it's okay. It's just going to be expanding that house. Now, if you are watching the subconscious programs come up around your 12th house, you're going to note it's going to be about all these things we've talked about. Your connection to self, your love of self, your sense of values, they're going to have to bubble up to the surface. This could be stuff that you've never thought about before. This could be stuff that you hide deep within your programming, fears you've hidden deep within your programming. This would also be a beautiful time for you to tap into your spiritual practices. You could feel like you're expanding and going on a journey of spirituality right now. This could feel like a beautiful energy of connecting to the divine and really diving into the process of spiritual transcendence, channeling, psychic intuition. All these things could come up. And so you have to just kind of watch what spiritual practices are you overindulging in that are sort of maybe becoming a little obsessive, maybe becoming too big, or is it that you're relearning spiritual practices, you're rediscovering spiritual practices? This could even feel a bit like a cult-like fascination with certain spiritual practices at this time, or a devotional, energetic connection to the unearthing you are doing around the hidden information being brought to the surface through this 12th house Jupiter transit. So knowing that you are being invited to come back to your physical vessel as well as connecting to the divine is where you find this connection between heaven and earth at this time. All right. You're going to be unearthing a lot of that stuff and bringing it up from the deep waters and bringing it up to the surface. All right. Moving to Cancer risings, Jupiter is going to be moving through your 11th house. So your connection to friendships, socialization, your goals, your dreams, your aspirations for the world, your community is going to be really brought to the surface right now. You may be really invited to expand your social groups, your philanthropy, your deep desire to be a part of the community. Now, Cancer in the 11th house is like this very interesting energy of wanting to be with your people, right? Like your soul tribe, and wanting to feel safe with them and nurtured with them, and nurturing the world could come through here. So that's going to be expanded at this time. Jupiter is going to really invite you on a quest of who is your community, who is your tribe, who are your people, your family, and really expanding you wanting to nurture the world. Now, watch out for the overindulgence here of wanting to fix everyone, heal everyone, soothe everyone. This energy naturally wants to nurture and mother the collective. And then you're going to have Jupiter expand that and say, now we're really overindulging in taking care of everyone, not just our family, but like the whole world. So you have to watch out at this time for overindulging in caring for the collective. Now, knowing that the invitation here is for you to go on this journey of how you nurture the world, how you nurture your communities, your tribe, your soul based people, but also how you experience that, right? That 11th house Aquarian frequency that can come through of the social group. Knowing at this time you are really being invited into getting out of your shell, okay? Getting out of your Cancerian rising shell and getting into the community, doing something worthwhile to help the world be a better place. So not overindulging in fixing anyone or healing anyone, but allowing the energy of getting out of your shell and becoming a part of the community is going to be where you're called. You are called to tap into your desires right now, your goals, your big dreams, and go on a quest of why are you here? 11th house energy, I love to tap into, like, why did you incarnate? Why was it so important? And what goals do you have here in the collective? How are you a part of the collective? So tap into that right now to figure out what you are doing and how you're going to do it. All right. Leo risings, Jupiter is going to be moving through your 10th house. So we've got career, destiny, status. You've got that on display right now. So knowing that your career is center focused, are you going to overindulge in your career? Are you going to go too hard? Are you going to be too focused? Are you going to be just like, is that going to be the only thing you think about? We want to watch out for that. but also knowing that opportunities knock on that door. Okay. Opportunities within your career may be knocking. Opportunities and the deep dive into your value system around your career must be tapped into at this time. You must do a little shadow work to figure out what are your values and are they aligned in your career. That doesn't mean you have to leave your job if you don't love it, but it does mean you're going to have to figure out if you do love it. And if you don't, well, then what's the game plan, right? What's the goal? You don't have to love your job, but most people would love to. So how can you create a lifestyle that is more aligned with your values? It's just something like planting a seed at this time, as Jupiter brings this heightened awareness around this new quest around your career, your status, your legacy. I like to call the 10th house like what people are going to say about you when you leave the world at your funeral. That 10th house energy, it's really linked into that. So with your legacy, your personal legacy, you could see something happens now, the frequency changes, doors open, but you might also be asked to go into a deep quest of figuring out, are you in or out of alignment with that energy as Jupiter travels through there? Okay, my Virgo risings, Jupiter is going to be moving through your 9th house. So Jupiter on Jupiter, we've got the 9th house ruled by Jupiter. You're going to be doing Jupiter things. You're going to be expanding your horizons. You're going to be expanding your mindset. You're going to go on a quest of some sort. With Virgo, it's usually a quest of purification, a quest of practicality, a quest of diving into your natural desire as a Virgo rising to really maintain a practical view of life. With Taurus being there, this is all about having practical beliefs, having grounded, solid belief systems to stand upon. And so you are on a quest into those. You're going to check in with your values. Is everything feeling grounded and supported? Do you feel safe to go on those quests? And really allowing yourself to go on the journey you're meant to go on in this grounded fashion. So it could be a time of travel. It could be a time of astral travel. It could be a time of internal travel, right? Maybe you're reading a lot of books. Maybe you're just diving into philosophy a lot. But you're going to want to expand your consciousness and connect in with really like how morality, that's the word I want to come up with, morality, justice, how is your operation feeling morality in its like the way that you live, the way that you do things? Are you feeling moral in your values? Are you aligned? Okay. And if not, why? And this could be a place where we have to watch for overindulgence while Jupiter's moving through there, of the obsession with what we'll call cognitive dissonance. This is a very left brain energy in the 9th house. And so this is an area where we can get very dogmatic. We can think we know everything. I have my Mars in the 9th house in whole signs, and I've really only tapped into this in the last year, that like I can get quite righteous in my belief systems because I think I know everything, right? So overindulgence in the idea that you know everything is something to watch out for, especially with Taurus, because Taurus grounds in and says like, I'm unchangeable. I'm determined to know the truth. So knowing that, like watching for that morality and really tapping into your righteous dogmatic thinking and being willing to expand your mind into new belief systems. That's that energy of the 9th house. All right, Libra risings. This is me. So if you're with me on this one, we've got Taurus moving through the 8th house right now. And Taurus moving through the 8th house, anything moving through the 8th house is going to drudge up the bullshit. It's going to drudge up the shadow. It's going to drudge up the past, the hidden, the stuff we don't want to look at. I really always call this one like the place where we sweep everything under the rug, hide everything under the bed until like it's like just don't look at it. If it's not there, we don't have to look at it, right? Till something transits through your 8th house and then it all comes to the surface. So while we have this energy moving through the 8th house, We have got a focus on shared resources, on sexuality, on the taboo, on the occult. And occult literally only means that which is hidden. So the things that are hidden from you are going to be expanded. Okay. Your transformation that is needed right now, Jupiter is going to expand the transformation. Like I said, Jupiter expands what it's looking at. When it's looking at the 8th house, it is looking at the expansion of a life-death process. I don't mean physical death. I mean the death of life, death, the energetic cycles of transformation that we go through. Okay, the Plutonian realms of going into the shadow, allowing yourself to die and then be reborn, the Phoenix energy. With Jupiter moving through the 8th house, you are having an expanded Phoenix moment. And so you're going to have to dive in and see what needs to decay, what needs to release in order for you to be reborn. Could be a heightened focus on spouses, on partnerships, like I said, sex, the taboo, anything we don't want to look at, right? All those good, juicy things, your relationships could be a high focus. Now, on the upside, it could bring so much expansion to these areas where you just feel lit up, you feel turned on, you feel activated, you feel juicy, and you're just like, this area of my life is feeling really good. One thing I'm tapping into is like other people's money. This is like the place where inheritances happen. Good things could happen. But then in the overindulgent side, we want to make sure we're not going so deep into the shadow that we just die there, right? We don't want to just like stay in hell. We don't want to stay too deep in the shadow. We don't want to become obsessed with the shadow. The 8th house is all about obsession. So we don't want to live in the shadow. We want to rise out of it. And Jupiter does that naturally, okay? Sagittarius comes after Scorpio because it rises from the ashes. So allowing yourself to do that during this time and watching for your overindulgence in transformation. Is it healthy transformation? Is it just transformation for transformation's sake? I'll be doing it with you, okay? As you are transforming your values, your body, all those things we talked about at the beginning of the video. All right. Scorpio risings, we've got Jupiter moving through the 7th house. So your partnerships, your marriages, your spouses, but not just that, not just your significant others, but also your business partnerships. Anyone you meet out in the world, the enemy, the other, like it's the house of, they say like open enemies, right? When I tapped into that the first time, I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, but it's so true. It's like, anybody you meet out in the world reflects the mirror. We've talked about the mirror before. If you guys have been following me for a while, if you're in my membership, if you are meeting with me on a monthly basis, you know we talk about Libra and the 7th house and the mirror a lot. So who you meet in that 7th house is a mirror, right? And so Jupiter expands the 7th house. You are going to see, like we mentioned, Jupiter is going to expand what you see in the world. So it's going to expand your projections of other people, which is often your own shit, your own shadow. And it's going to expand the focus on your relationships. So yeah, at this time, it could be like a really juicy time for relationships. You could meet someone. You could like, your relationships could just feel so full of good, nourishing energy. But it could also be a time of the shadow coming up, right? Expanding the low octaves of relationships. So we got to watch for these things, and overindulging into bad habits, bad relationships, toxic relationships. It doesn't always mean that everything goes well Jupiter goes into the 7th house, right? If you're already in a toxic relationship, Jupiter might expand that toxic relationship to help you get out of it, to help you see it more clearly. Okay. So watching for the energy of what the quest is. The quest is relationships in the 7th house. And is it a quest to heal relationships? Is it a quest to expand the relationships? What do you need? All right. Sagittarius rising, Jupiter is going to be moving through your 6th house. So work, health, routines, your body, service, mentorship, mastery. You're going to be tapping into your healthy routines right now, your lifestyle with the energy of Taurus in the 6th house. It is all about having these grounded, practical routines every single day. And so you are going to have to look at that area right now. You're going to have to see, again, where do your values align in that area of your life? Are you feeling congruent there? And if not, you might have to, rework your belief system. You might have to redesign your belief systems and create a new belief or a new style of living, a new perception of living through those new belief systems that are rooted in everything you learn about with this Taurus energy, okay? Overindulging in your body at this time is something to watch for. Overindulging in health, like really being obsessive about health, is something to watch for. That's like a Virgo thing in general. But if you have Jupiter moving in through there, it could be a time where you just feel like your health gets really great. You could be like hyper focused on making your body healthier, your food healthier, your routines all healthier, but watching for, I would say, like overindulgence into hypochondria. That's something to really pay attention to. Watching for an overindulgence into routines, where you take it too far. But finding that fine line between I'm instituting a new way of living and I am becoming obsessive about that living. Okay. My Capricorn risings, we've got Jupiter moving through the 5th house. So really creativity, your sense of self, your creative expression. Romance could come up, children could come up, but like really it's about your personal creations here. So that's why like children's in here, is because we gestate them and create them from that 5th house of creation. So you're going to tap into your energetic connection to what are you creating? What are you becoming? What are you expressing at this time? Okay. Jupiter's going to want to expand all that so you could feel super creative. You could feel so lit up with creativity at this time where you're just like, I'm just creating so much. Maybe you felt like the last little while you were gestating something, you were sort of like in the pregnancy phase of something. And that 5th house Jupiter is going to be like, okay, let's pop out that energetic baby and create something. So it is about you becoming something new. Areas to watch out for is the overindulgence in, the creativity on its low octave, like where you're not fully connected into the creation within your values, aligned with your values. But it could be a time where you just feel super expansive. So overindulgence in romance could come up, overindulgence in paying attention to outside approval could come up. Watch out for the need for external approval at this time. It is not the root of what you want. You want self-approval, okay? Also watch out for the overindulgence into self, It could be a beautiful time where you're like, I actually just feel really solo right now. I'm just really like creatively expressing myself. I just want to be inward. That's totally okay. But finding that healthy axis of there are people in your life that you do need to sort of consider their frequencies and what they need as well. Okay. For my Aquarius risings, Jupiter is going to be moving through your 4th house. So you are tapping into home, ancestry, foundations, root systems, and your subconscious mind. So stuff could feel expanded around programming, around childhood, around subconscious thinking or hidden information like within your subconscious. Your unmet needs could surface. You could feel a bit of an overindulgence in being at home, in being with family. It could just be like a time where family gets the heightened focus. But it also could be a beautiful time where you're finding home, creating home, nourishing home, expanding the quest for home. Okay, maybe you're going to move and find home, or maybe you're just kind of like building the home within yourself. Whatever it is, watching out for a possible overindulgence in staying very inward, in isolating in an unhealthy way. I will never say that, isolation is bad sometimes we just need to hermit. But when you go into a point where the isolation expands past its nourishing good phase, then we have to watch out for that. So knowing that you are focused on that frequency of home right now, ancestry, root systems, you could be really called to go on a quest to discover a deeper dive into your ancestry at this time, into where you came from, your subconscious programming. Hypnotherapy could be super supportive at this time as you are diving into your inner realms and your like subconscious programming. All right. And for my Pisces risings, you are going to be tapping into the third house at this time. So the expansion and quest of communication, learning, really tapping into like a locality. So the community within you, these short journeys within you, this is you socializing with people and connecting and networking with people and really highlighting your communication practices. This could be a time where you're like writing a lot or you're speaking a lot or you just feel really activated to learn a lot. And you're just like, I just want to learn everything right now. I want to ground into learning. I want to do all these Taurus things, right? Money, security, safety, nourishment, self-love, but around your voice, around you speaking your truth. So watching for overindulgence and sharing could be a thing, you know, watching for the overindulgence of consuming information. That third house, sometimes it can't shut off. Sometimes, like, man, if you have Gemini placements or third house placements, you don't know when to stop. Okay. You don't know when to turn it off or to stop it, like stop digesting information. So that could be something to watch out for during this journey. But it really is inviting you to expand your mind. It is the expansion of your mind in grounded thought. Okay. In the way your third house naturally operates in grounded, practical, tangible thoughts, you are going to be asked to go deeper, keep focused. So just watch for that high octave and that low octave. All right. So that's all the houses. You're going to be diving into like what house is impacting you, what frequency are you tapping into, what is the arena that Jupiter is playing out in your chart. Just journal, reflect on, you know, what's coming up already only in the last 2 weeks. I will say, you know, the minute it moved into my 8th house, it really did expand my awareness. I literally have been saying lately, right before it transitioned in, and I always feel the transits before they move in, I died. I died and I went to hell and I was reborn. That's what I've been saying lately. And I was reborn with so much new ideas, so many new ideas that I'm going to bring to you guys. Like this whole mad scientist thing was like exploded in my brain once that energy moved in. Oh, sorry guys, I'm just like smashing things. So a whole new expansive vision was plugged and dropped into my brain as Jupiter moved into this place for me, this 8th house energy for me. So I want to know if you're already feeling the energy of this transit within your own chart. Now, there is 2 other things I want to talk about before I jump off of here. Now, I know this video is a little bit longer. This recording is a little bit longer, so thank you guys for sticking around. But the last 2 things I want to talk about is Jupiter conjuncts the node. So Jupiter is going to be, sorry guys, I want to get the exact date. Jupiter is going to be conjunct the North Node on June 1st. So I'm going to be dropping this as you're listening to this. It might be June 1st. And this energy is all about these fated changes, these fated alignments that are happening in your life. You are being asked to do everything we just talked about in the start of the video, in the house in your life, and it is fated alignments at this time. Okay, June 1st, 2023, fated alignments as Jupiter conjuncts the North Node. You are being invited to pay attention to the pathways being open to you at this time. This energy wants to invite you deeper into the quest you need to go on. Whatever your quest is, go into that house, see what is your quest, and see where you are experiencing an energetic realignment, an energetic offering, energetic doorway to change your reality, to change your belief systems, to expand your consciousness. Add to this, you'll take a peek at your chart. If you're listening to this later, you can skip over this little section here, but you'll take a peek at your chart around 3 degrees Taurus, 3 degrees Scorpio, 3 degrees Leo, 3 degrees of Aquarius, and see, do you have any placements being activated? If you do, tap deeper into the energy that is being activated within your chart. My example is that I have my midheaven and my IC being squared. So my career is being turned on and my root systems, my home's being turned on. Well, I'm moving back to BC. Everything is solidifying right now while I'm having this moment. And I'm having a flood of insights of how I'm going to change what I'm bringing to you guys here in my, my great work. All right. There's a couple more transits I want you guys to know about over the next 2 years. So we have Jupiter, and it is going to conjunct Uranus. I just want to give you the date. 1 year, sorry guys, not 2 years. Yeah, all right. Jupiter conjunct Uranus. All right. This transit is happening on April 18th to the 26th of 2024. Just going to confirm this here. 21 degrees Taurus is where that transit will be happening. So if you have any placements around 21 degrees Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, or Scorpio, note you'll be impacted. And this transit is going to be super juicy, super expansive, although I will preface every energy, depending on what's happening in your chart, can have its high and low octaves. And even without that, it can have its high and low octaves. But the energy of Jupiter conjunct Uranus. I was watching a really great video. I can't remember what it was now, guys. I think it was on the astrology podcast. And they were talking about the last time Jupiter conjunct Uranus, something within the workforce. I believe it was the 40-hour work week was created. Not the last time Jupiter conjunct, but one of the times Jupiter conjunct Uranus and Taurus. The 40-hour work week was created after or through the times of when people were just working like hours and hours and hours. There was no legality to how long you could work before you had to pay overtime. There was a whole thing. And that really got me thinking about the movements that have been happening around, for me, what came up, and I can't remember if this was said in the video, but women having to work while we're on our cycle. So it is extremely hard if you're a woman listening to this, which most of my community is women. It is extremely difficult to work during your cycle. The 3 days specifically when you bleed and after, you can't focus. You are generally in pain, which is not normal. Like that's a whole naturopathic discovery that, man, maybe I need to have a naturopath on here to discuss that. But you're in pain, you are uncomfortable. It is so hard to keep your mind focused. The productivity just absolutely plummets. So one thing I'd love to see during that transit is the shift of, menstrual time off. You get your 3 days where you don't work. Like I don't work. I do not plan content. I do not work. I do not take calls on my period. Unless a new moon, God forbid, falls on it, and I will do the dark moon circle inside of my membership on my cycle. Otherwise, I do not work. I do not take calls. I do not record. I don't have the energy. My frequency is not the same. My energy is just, I don't do it. And that is something I'd like to see come into the world. So that'll be something interesting. It's been talked about. It's being talked about. We will see. There are places that have already put it in place where you get like period leave essentially, right? So that'd be cool to see. But let's just say it's like an innovative time for Taurus things to happen, and Jupiter makes it bigger. So the focus gets like really, really heightened. A little bit of luck comes in, a little bit of faith, a little bit of belief really, really focuses in. Uranus goes, we're going to innovate, we're going to change, we're going to rebel against the status quo. And with Taurus, the status quo is money, it's material wealth, it's physical security, it's the body, it's nourishment. Something's got to change. So that'll be the focus collectively. It's like something has to change, and it will change. It will rapidly change, and it will change for, in my opinion, the better. Then you're going to tap into your own chart. Where are you innovating? Where are you being called to expand? What quest are you on? And where are you innovating your life to, be in better alignment with your values, social values, whatever. Tap in. That's the only one I can think of that I really wanted to talk about. I'm just going to double check the chart here, guys. Bear with me. So tapping into, that is the energy I really wanted to talk about, which means that we are going to be in a year of juicy changes, a new quest for body sovereignty. Gosh, like what a beautiful concept, body sovereignty, which, as we know, was a big conversation over the last 3 years. So here we have it. This is my conversation for Jupiter in Taurus. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know what you are experiencing, processing. Have you already felt the changes? If you're listening to this early on when it was posted, if you're listening to this down the line, are you already is this resonating? Have you experienced these things? Are you listening to this now and going like, oh my God, yep, that is what's been happening? Tell me in the comments. I want to know what's coming up. And make sure you drop what house is this shifting through for you, right? Drop your rising sign below and tell me what house is Jupiter moving through for you. What is your quest you're going on? And maybe even drop an intention below. Like I talked about in the last video on my live, which was the Gemini season video, we speak to create. Okay, so let's speak into creation, drop an intention below. And let me remind you guys that moving forward, every astrological season change, I will be going live here on YouTube. I will announce it in the community when I am going live, what time I'm going live. So you'll be able to join me and ask me questions on the astrological transits. So the next season will be Cancer season around, I don't even know what day, but it'll be around the 20th-ish of June. And we will go live together. You'll be able to connect in with me and all that juicy stuff. Now, also make sure, guys, if you're not already on my mailing list, that you go, I'll drop it in the comments below, or in the show notes below. Make sure you're on there because I give you weekly updates now. Officially, I've started the Cosmic Scoop. So every Sunday, you're going to get a little bit of a deep dive into what is happening energetically, what to expect, and all the things I'm offering right now. Like the retreat right now, that's where you're going to hear about it. And any other programs coming through, like my level 2 astrology program coming out this fall. So if you want to learn with me, if you want to be hanging out with me and going deeper with me, make sure that you are on the Cosmic Scoop. All right, you're going to find that in the show notes below. I can't wait to hear from you guys. Have the most beautiful day.